Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Imagineers Disney podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Susie.
Hi, I'm the good friend and co-host, Susie.
And we are here to give you the latest information, up-to-date information on the Disney parks and beyond. So whenever you meet someone new, you try to break the ice. How do you do it? Just walk up or what? So what we're going to do is actually tell you guys a little bit about ourselves first. So Susie, why don't you start with yourself? A little bit about you.
Sure. So just like speaking of breaking the ice, this is so much better. I tend to try to make some type of like forced punny joke. Definitely going to wait until a couple episodes in before we get too cheesy there.
And we're both pretty cheesy, I think. I think our personalities are pretty laid back, but hopefully people will get our jokes.
Hopefully, and if not, then, we'll have a good time laughing at ourselves at least. So like Matt said, my name is Susie. I'm born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Duval, which is apparently a cool thing again after the Jaguars won more than like 2 games last year, but
Go Jags.
Go Jags. So just some like Disney background, I guess. Been going to the parks pretty much on a regular basis since 2002, 2003-ish. First trip I remember, it was spring break. I was in like 3rd grade and it was unseasonably cold. We were not expecting that. We're all packed in like tank tops and shorts and, we're Floridians. We know how it rolls. And you get down there and it's like 60 degrees in March or whatever, and it sucks. And so I still have the sweatshirt we had to buy at Fort Wilderness that year because we had no jackets. It's so cute and tiny, and it's just such a good memory of that first trip, freezing at Disney, which is a rare occasion, as we well know. It's mostly dripping sweat and
pretty much every day of the year except for 5 or 6 days. It's pretty warm.
Yeah, it was not a very spring break. So that's like really my first memory of going to Disney. I don't have this deep, I remember seeing the castle and I was so moved and meeting my favorite princesses. It's just, I remember being cold and eating junk food.
So my first trip that I recall, I was 4 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right?
What a memory.
I do remember some things, and they're very few, but the things that I do remember, I remember being led around on a yellow leash. So
were you one of those kids who would just run off at things?
No, not really, but they kept me on a leash. So that is not an endorsement for anything for parents. So do not put your children on leashes, but I was on a leash. And did not run away. But then I remember my uncle having he was very determined to go see the Hall of Presidents, and no one else wanted to go. I don't know why that sticks out, but it does.
Well, I think there's one of those in every group. Hall of Presidents has been closed for a while now, but I've always loved Hall of Presidents. My dad likes Hall of Presidents. We're kind of nerds, so I relate to that. No shame.
And then the last thing I really remember was Country Bear Jamboree. And the rather portly bear that plays guitar and his musical stylings that left an impression on me. So now I have a deep, fond love for Big Al and crew at the Country Bear Jamboree.
Honestly, surprised after those 2 attractions that you still love Disney as much as you do. Those could go either way for most people.
Well, speaking of attractions, so tell me, tell everyone what is your favorite attractions?
I'm going to say this a lot. I feel like the expression is like picking your favorite child, and I have 2 dogs. I don't relate to the baby thing yet, so it's like picking between my favorite dogs. It's I love everything for its own reason. But I love Kilimanjaro safaris. I think it's different every time you go. I love the animals. It's always fun stopping for 5 or 10 minutes so something can move out of the way. It's just always a new experience. So that's good. Also Pirates of the Caribbean, and not for any Johnny Depp related reasons, which I feel like most people are Pirate of the Caribbean fans. 4, I'm not. Those movies are okay. But
I think if you were to take a poll amongst people, I think you would find that most people enjoy the original Pirates before Johnny Depp. So
yeah, and my dad is older, and so he remembers going to the parks, as a full grown adult, like when Magic Kingdom, then just Disney World, opened, and it's one of the few rides that my whole family likes to do together. Some members of our party get motion sickness, or they can do one roller coaster and they're done for the day. But like Pirates, Haunted Mansion, those are staples that everyone loves and has fun on. So that's why I like Pirates. And then I also like Flight of Passage, which is again like such a cliche answer. But if you haven't ridden that ride, oh my gosh, the future is here. Tomorrowland is here.
I don't think it's cliche because it's true.
It's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
So before Flight of Passage opened, my favorite attraction was actually Tower of Terror. The ride itself is great, but I think it's the overall theme and how everything kind of like weaves in together. So, I mean, the building itself is incredible with the design, and then you go into the lobby. There's cobwebs everywhere. It's like people left the hotel in a hurry. And then you get the backstory in the ride video pre-show. And then you go even more theming as you're going through the boiler room and stuff. And then you get on the service elevator, and then you get on that incredible ride that the Imagineers designed up, where you're actually being dropped faster than the speed of gravity. So just everything about that ride was just the design, and it was incredible. But then Flight of Passage came along and just
changed everything,
blew us out of the water. But so if you have not done that yet, you've got to. So I know the lines are extremely long most of the time. The shortest wait time I've had for that ride was basically 5 minutes when we did the pass holder preview, and then I have waited as long as 5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
I went with a friend of mine.
That's intense.
I went with a friend of mine, and he had not ridden it yet, and we waited for 5 hours.
Now, don't they have like a single rider option too, or
okay,
not?
So
I only did. I've had a fast pass for it, and then I got there extra magic hours and waited like 15 minutes. So I'm not familiar with having to wait, an extensive period of time in that or any.
They do have a single rider line, but the catch is you have to wait in line pretty much the entire time. Mm-hmm. You go through the entire queue, and you get to a portion at the end where you split up into these aisles, these rows,
right,
up this ramp. You know what I'm talking about when you've seen it. So if you are a single rider, they will send you up a single rider aisle. And it actually does cut probably 20 minutes, I would say, of wait time if you're okay riding by yourself and you can split from your party. So it's a good time-saving tip for everyone. But no, you do have to wait through the entire queue until the very end to do single rider, just like everybody else. So, I would definitely say that Flight of Passage is my current favorite attraction. And then, of course, Tower of Terror. And then I would say, Haunted Mansion, it's classic Disney. And then the People Mover.
Were you ever scared as a kid and had to leave the Haunted Mansion? Because I definitely never had that happen to me.
No.
Okay. Then it is just me. First time I was like, nope. After we got to the first room, and I was like, no, sir, not today.
I've seen a few of those. For sure.
I mean, I wasn't 15. I mean, I was I don't know, 8 maybe, but still. And my dad's like, it's fun. It's scary, silly. And so I'm like,
they're happy haunts.
Yeah, but you don't know that until you get in the ride or get in the building, which I got 3 feet in. And
yeah, that guy that's trying to escape out of the coffin, he seems very happy, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So those are our favorite rides. Now, I know that you said that you spent a lot of time at Fort Wilderness. Is that your...
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
favorite resort?
Yeah, Fort Wilderness is a go-to for us. We've had a motorhome since 2002, 2003-ish. So around the time we started going to Disney. And you don't have to stay at other resorts, but just family time at Fort Wilderness, like it doesn't, for us, it just doesn't get any better. It's like literally our escape. And with most Disney resorts, Fort Wilderness is this way. You don't really have to leave and go do anything because they have so much stuff to do within, the Fort Wilderness campground area with boating and swimming and horseback riding and archery and just, everything. It's so fun. So when we go on trips, we like to just take a day and chill at the campground.
Yeah, I think Fort Wilderness is a hidden gem for I think a lot of people overlook.
Mm-hmm.
For the resort activities, I mean, I've actually stayed. Anytime I go to Fort Wilderness, I don't have a camper, but we do stay at the cabins.
Sure.
And I've taken a trip to Fort Wilderness and stayed in the cabins and not stepped foot in the park. So, yeah. I mean, it can be done. There's horseback riding, like you said, and fishing. There's so many activities. And then, of course, that night they have, the campfire and a movie, just like every other resort, but Chippendale come out to the campfire. And
yeah, it's a good time.
For sure. So
food is so good there, too. Oh, my gosh.
Trails End.
Oh my! And for breakfast, we go and get a late breakfast, and then you don't even need lunch because you just load up. It's great.
Trails End, and then of course Hoop-Dee-Doo Review.
Yeah, that's worth doing.
For sure. I mean, it is one of the longest running dinner shows in America. So
it's a Disney bucket list. You need to go do it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's fun. It's a good time. But
that fried chicken though.
Fried chicken is good. So there's no beating that.
For me, trying to narrow down my favorite resort is a little tough. I'm gonna go with Polynesian. I mean, anytime that you're 100 yards from Dole Whip at all times, I mean, what can go wrong, right? So
yeah, keep that close by. Well, so much for picking a favorite resort, but do you have a favorite park, or are you gonna be like?
Oh no, parks. It's the same thing. I can't narrow it down. There's stuff that I love about each park. Just the nostalgia from Magic Kingdom, and then Epcot. I love World Showcase. I like food. So food. and Epcot has really. I'd say if there was a front runner for my favorite park, it's probably Epcot, just because of how much they offer year round. So you have Flower and Garden Festival in the spring. Excuse me. Don't forget about the Festival of the Arts. In January. Yeah.
Oh, I was so jealous I didn't get to go to that.
Fantastic.
Working my schedule, it looked amazing.
And then Flower and Garden Festival in the spring. And then you got kind of have that hiatus in the summer with nothing really going on, except for July 4th. July 4th at Epcot is amazing. The fireworks are incredible. But then you have Food and Wine Festival, and then you have Festival of the Holidays. So there's really something almost year-round in that park for you to enjoy, and it's quickly becoming my favorite park for sure. So how about you?
I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I love Magic Kingdom, everything about it. It's probably the only park that I've done every single thing at, just because I don't like heights. So Tower of Terror is a no-go.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't like heights. And the whole point of not liking heights is not falling from them. So that checks off both boxes for me.
Have you ever ridden it?
No, but I know what I don't like.
At least try it once.
I'll try
at least
it
once.
Hopefully I've got years and years ahead of me, and I can do that someday when I'm old and gray and have nothing left to lose. But I don't know. We'll see. I just love everything about Magic Kingdom. Food, which I know isn't as good as Epcot, but we've got some picky eaters in our party, and because we frequent Magic Kingdom the most, it's just those go-to places for us.
Well, I'll tell you that Skipper Canteen is quickly becoming one of my favorite table services in Disney World. I mean, it's incredible.
It is really good, and my dad's actually a vegetarian, and then also just picky about a few other things. And they were Disney's always accommodating with food, allergies or preferences for things, but they were just over the top. Like everything that he asked for, they made adjustments. It was great experience at Skipper Canteen.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, I like all the rides in Magic Kingdom, but just the humor from the Jungle Cruise carried over into the theming for the Jungle Navigation Company Limited Skipper Canteen.
Get the whole name in there.
The whole name in there, yeah. Just, the wait staff is funny. They tell jokes. And then, of course, there's jokes like hidden within the restaurant itself. Like,
that's always an adventure. Just reading everything.
Yeah, like the bookshelf that is between the main dining room and then the secret meeting room. Mm-hmm. There are, books on the shelf. And, of course, you go up and inspect and look. And so, like, one of my favorite books on the shelf is Fleas, Navidad, and Other Winter Insects.
Brilliant.
Yes.
I want to just shake the hand of the person who came up with that. And that's another thing that just in general I like about Disney, which, by the way, could be an encyclopedia worth of podcasts in itself. Things I like about Disney. But just everything they do is immersive, and like no stone is left unturned. They cover all their bases, so many details. Every I is dot and T is crossed, unless if it's not, it's something funny, then they leave it undotted or uncrossed. You know what I mean? It's just everything is for a reason.
Yeah, the theming and just the creativity and attractions and restaurants. You're right. It is immersive, and I think it's only going to get better as we see the parks expand and additions coming to certain parks.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about stuff coming to Hollywood Studios.
Yep.
I mean, unless you just love like Tower of Terror, there's not a lot to do right now at Hollywood Studios except like Star Wars centered stuff, which is not a problem for me. I love, did I say I love Star Wars? And just, adding so much new stuff out there, it blesses my heart. It means so much. It's going to be so good.
Galaxy's Edge coming sometime 2019.
Oh my gosh.
Can't wait.
I cannot wait. Every time they talk about it or the resort that's coming to, I just start calculating how much money I'm going to be spending. Mm-hmm. And that makes me sad, but then I remember how awesome it's going to be, totally worth it. And then I get happy again because I don't mind all the hype.
Don't worry. We'll have plenty of Star Wars episodes coming up in the next few months or so. But so what we want to do in this podcast is be a source of trust. So you can depend on us for news and information and tips for the parks and your vacation and dining. So, Susie, what would you tell the people who would ask you that question? Why should I trust you?
I guess I would say that, and I'm such a cheese ball, but like it is cheesy, but like I get the magic. Like it means so much to me going to the park for the 9 billionth time. It always puts a smile on my face. I get what people feel like when they go there and they're just like, it's different, and it is. And, that sounds kind of like spooky, and I don't mean to sound spooky, but it's a whole different environment and a vibe. And, we've been going down there for so long and done so many different things down at Disney. But I think just, I would sum it up as like, I understand it. I love it too. So everything that I'm talking about it, even though it's, a theme park and there's, bigger problems in the world, like it's great to just escape. And that's what Disney has been for my family and I. So if you're feeling that way too, like I totally get it. Absolutely. And I just want to talk about that and talk about information and spread that love of Disney, to everyone. If you're a couple months away from a trip and you just want to listen and talk about Disney, then, we got you.
Yeah. And I'm going to interject and talk about you a little bit. So you're an excellent blog writer.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
So Susie writes excellent articles for our friends over at the Main Street Mouse.
Yes.
So be sure to go check them out.
Yes, we love Scott and Michelle over there. They're just the sweetest, and they're doing such a good job of creating a community of like-minded Disney-loving people. So check them out.
For sure. And, I think for me, the thing that draws me to the parks, and like we harped on it a little bit, is just, the innovation. So that creativity and innovation has really drawn me to the parks over the years. And, that spark that you get on your first visit, that kind of ignites the love of everything mouse. It is something special. And, for a long time, I've had people ask me for tips and advice on going to the parks. What should I do here? What should I do there? And then I actually, almost 2 years ago, I became a Disney vacation planner. I work for Travel Nation, which is an authorized Disney vacation planner. And I've just had the best time just helping families have the best time possible. So my goal every time I book somebody's vacation, I want them to have the same experience that I had on my first time. Just especially if you're taking kids, I think that's the best part for me is just, especially when I go to park with others, is just observing other people and just kind of seeing their first reactions, especially if it's the first time in the park, seeing their first reactions to, seeing Mickey or doing an attraction. That's where I am when I talk about the parks and just helping others. So, so I would love to help you with your vacation. So if you have any questions, if you want a quote, just send me an email. Our email is matt@imagineerspodcast.com, and I would be happy to give you a quote. So just shoot me an email.
Speaking of puns again, do you want to spell Imagineers so everyone
yes
gets a differentiator?
Yes, so you spell it out just the way it is. Imagine, and then you spell out the word ears. So 2 E's there, not 1, just so there's no confusion. And then podcast.com. So all that being said, we hope you have enjoyed listening to our very first episode of our podcast. Once again, we are super excited to be with you guys and give you content every week. So we look forward to talking to you real soon. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast is available on Apple iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So whatever format you are listening to, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And we'd also love for you to rate the podcast and share it with your friends on social media. So hit that rating and then share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media platform you use.
MySpace.
Right.
For all the hipsters who are hanging on.
Is MySpace still is it still, does it actually run?
Oh, I have no idea. I just like making references to the mid-2000s.
Showing our age a little bit, but that's okay. Anybody that's younger than 18 is probably like, what? But anyway, so we'd love to hear from you. So if you have any questions about the podcast, please email us. Once again, the email is matt@imagineerspodcast.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all real soon.